Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now today, boys and girls, I'm going to bring you guys the West Ham versus Leicester match preview. So then, boys and girls, it is match day, and today we travel down to the London Stadium to take on David Moyes' West Ham United in our first away game of the new Premier League season. Last time out for West Ham in their first league game of the new season, they picked up a 4-2 victory against Newcastle away from home in a very entertaining game, to say the least. And of course for Leicester, we managed to beat Wolves 1-0 at the King Power Stadium with the shithouse king himself, Jamie Vardy, at it again. The two sides come together today at London Stadium, and it's set to be a very entertaining game between two sides who will be pushing once again for European football at the end of the season. So that being said, and without further ado, boys and girls, let's jump straight into today's video and let's talk West Ham and Leicester, and let's get into the match preview. Here we go. Right, and starting things off then with my thoughts heading into today's game against the Hammers away from home. I think first of all, it's going to be a massive test for Leicester today. Of course, last year against West Ham, we didn't really perform too well against them at all. Of course, West Ham performed very well last Premier League season, finishing in 6th place in the Europa League spot. Of course, 1 place behind Leicester. And overall, today's game, is a massive one. Obviously, it's only the second game of the season, but a point today or 3 points today could be massive towards the end of the season, where Leicester usually bottle the Champions League. And of course, we don't want to bottle Champions League for the 3rd season running. I think it's going to be a very open game today. Last year between West Ham and Leicester, there was 8 goals scored between the two sides. Overall today, I think we're going to see goals at the London Stadium, and it should be a very entertaining game for the neutral. But obviously for us Leicester fans, it's going to be a pretty scary game to watch, because believe me boys, I think there's going to be a lot of goals today. But on the balance of things, I'm pretty hopeful that Leicester can get a decent result today. Overall, I probably would take a point, but I think the 3 points are definitely up for grabs for Leicester. We've had around 9 days rest going into the game, so we should be fully prepared to try and get all 3 points today against West Ham. So just before we move on to my predictor lineup, I've got some interesting stats for you guys heading into today's game. West Ham were the only team to do the Premier League double over Leicester last season. Those victories were the Hammers' sole victories in matches against sides who finished above them in the table. So yeah, let's hope West Ham don't do the double over us this season once again. The Hammers are looking to record 3 consecutive league wins over the Foxes for the first time since they won their first 4 Premier League games against them between November 1994 and April 1997. Leicester have kept a clean sheet in just 3 of the last 28 league games against West Ham. So there we go then, boys and girls, some pretty interesting stats heading into tomorrow's game. Most of them are not in Leicester's favour, so let's hope we get a better result today. Come on. Right then, moving on, let's jump straight into my predictor lineup for today's game. So just before we jump straight into my predictor lineup, I'm going to hand it straight over to you guys in the comment section down below. As always, let me know your predictor lineups for today's game in the comment section down below. So then, starting off then with the formation. For me, I'm going to stick with the 4-3-3 formation, which Leicester went with against Wolves, of course, last Saturday. Obviously, mid-game, we switched to a fight about with Vestergaard coming in. But for me, I'm going to start off with the 4-3-3 formation. It's going to be difficult to judge, though. Brendan Rodgers has mentioned several times in pre-season that he will be changing the side a lot with players to adapt to those games there. It's going to be interesting to see what formation we do go over tomorrow, but I'm going to stick with the 4-3-3. So starting off in goal then, pretty easy. This one, of course, will be going with Kasper Schmeichel with starting goal for today's game. So then moving into the back four, then starting off at right back, pretty easy this one once again for me. I'm going to go with Ricardo Pereira. Looked fantastic against Wolves. He's going to be up and down today on that right hand side, so hopefully Ricky can have a solid game. Centre back partnership, I'm going to go with Kaglo Sungchu and Yannick Vestergaard to make his full Leicester debut with a start. I think, Vestergaard came in, looked pretty solid. Marty is an option, but he looked quite shaky against Wolves. So for me, I'm going to go with Sungchu and Vestergaard as my centre back pairing. And at left back, it's a difficult one once again. Obviously, Luke Thomas did quite well. Castagna is back in contention. I'm going to stick with Luke Thomas, but I really do think we could see Castagna make a start tomorrow. Of course, he's back. He's fully fit for the games. We could see Castagna, but for me, I'm going to stick with Luke Thomas. So then moving into the midfield 3, for me, this is going to be unchanged from Wolves once again. So yeah, starting off in the holding role, I'm going with Wilfred and Diddy. Hopefully Wilfred can have a decent game, prove that he's a better player than Declan Rice. Moving ahead, of course, in the box-to-box role, we'll go with Yuri Tillemans. For me, I thought he was fantastic against Wolves. Hopefully Yuri can have another solid game in that number 8 role. Of course, in the number 10 role, we'll be going with James Maddison. Went down by a slight knock against Wolves. Brendan Rodgers has confirmed this week, though, that he will be fully fit for the game. So yeah, James Maddison start then in that number 10 attacking midfielder role. And finally then moving into the front three. So yeah, starting off in the left wing role, we'll be going with Harvey Barnes. I thought he looked very good against Wolves last time out. So yeah, hopefully Barnes can have another solid game against West Ham away from home. Right hand side, another difficult one. For me, I think he might go with Perez, but overall, rather see Albrighton start. So yeah, we'll say Mark Albrighton to start. On that right hand side, of course, up top, we'll go with the main man, Jamie Vardy. Of course, scored his first goal of the new season last time out against Wolves. Yeah, hopefully he can have another goal today against West Ham away from home. So yeah, lads, that's it for my predicted lineup. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on that in the comment section down below. Overall, it's going to be pretty easy to predict. Of course, off the bench, we've got several players to bring on, such as, Patson Daka, Samara, etc. going forward. Then moving on, let's talk a bit about West Ham then heading into today's game. Of course, last time out for West Ham, they picked up a 4-2 victory against Newcastle in the first game of the new season. Overall, it was a decent win for them, but defensively in that first half especially, they look quite shaky. To concede 2 goals to Newcastle in one half isn't really the best. I think, Leicester can definitely get at that West Ham defence. But of course, going forward, West Ham look very good with players such as Ben Rama, Antonio Bowen, all looking deadly going forward, and overall they're going to cause Leicester some serious problems in today's game. West Ham went with a 4-2-3-1 formation against Newcastle last time out, of course, pretty similar to the 4-3-3 formation which Leicester could potentially go. So I imagine the two sides probably match each other up, and that's probably the best way to go about it in Brendan Rodgers' sake. Lineup wise, I think West Ham will go with a pretty similar team which started against Newcastle. That consisted of Fabianski in goal. The back four was made up of Kufal, Ogbonna and Dawson. Left back, of course, was Aaron Cresswell. Midfield was obviously Souček, Declan Rice, Ben Rama, Fornals, Bowen, and of course Mikel Antonio up top. West Ham have no real injury problems heading into the game, so I imagine they'll be fully fit, and I think that'll probably be the team which David Moyes picked to start. Obviously, West Ham, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Of course, that side is very strong, and it's definitely going to cause Leicester some serious problems. So yeah, lads, that's it then for discussing West Ham heading into tomorrow's game. Obviously, I don't really have a clue about them, but yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about West Ham then heading into tomorrow's game. And finally then, boys and girls, score prediction time heading into today's game. As always, I'm going to hand it straight over to you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know your score predictions for today's game. For me, I'm going to go with a Leicester win, a high-scoring 3-2 win to Leicester. I think there's going to be goals in this, end-to-end stuff, and it should be a very, very decent game to watch. But for me, goal score-wise, I think Vardy will grab one. Maddison score from midfield. Soyuncu will score from a corner. And for West Ham, we'll go with Mikel Antonio to score double. He always seems to score against us. But yeah, boys, that's my score prediction for today's game. It's going to be a tough one. I would take a point, but I reckon Leicester can just grab all 3 points in today's game. So the boys and girls, that's it for today's video. Of course, in today's video, I bring you guys the West Ham versus Leicester match preview for today's game at the London Stadium. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, let me know by dropping a like. Subscribe as well to the channel if you guys have not already. Most supported, let me know your thoughts and opinions heading into today's game in the comment section down below. I'll see you all tonight for the match reaction, where hopefully we can discuss a beautiful Leicester win. But yeah, boys, I'm SPORTSA, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Peace, guys.